Then we have another example. A concentrated load of a 36 kilonewton is applied to the upper end of a pipe as shown. The outside diameter of the pipe is 220 millimeter and the inside diameter is 200 millimeter. Determine the vertical shear stress on the YZ plane of the pipe wall. So we have a tube in which we have a 220 millimeter diameter, outside diameter. The outside diameter is 220 and the inside diameter is 200 millimeter. So our goal here is to determine the vertical shear stress on the YZ plane of the pipe wall. Therefore, we need to compute the shear stress. Now that is equal to VQ over IB. Now, since our 36 kilonewton here is acting transverse or perpendicular to the longitudinal, so this resembles a beam structure. Okay, so this is the same as with the beam structure, wherein we have 36 kilonewton that is acting on the other end. Also, this is a cantilever beam, correct? So we have 36 kilonewton acting on the free end. Now, we first compute for the internal shear since we have 36 kilonewton that is acting on the free end. So therefore, we can say that all the internal shear force on any point from, let's say this is point 1 to point 2 is equal to 36 kilonewton that is acting upward. Okay, so if we're going to draw the shear diagram, we would have at 0 degree. So we will have this shear diagram in which all throughout our beam we have 36 kilonewton internal shear force. So therefore we could say that our V here is 36 kilonewton. Now for Q, since we have already derived the moment, the area moment of a tube, that is we have 2/3, that is R cube minus R cube, or we could have 1/12 D cube minus D cube, where our D, that's the outside diameter, and small letter D, that's the inside diameter. The same as with the capital letter R, that is the outside radius, and this one is the inside radius. So therefore we have 2/3. Our R here, that is the outside radius, that is since we have 220, that is the outside diameter, therefore we could have 110 cube, that's the radius, minus the inside radius, that is 100 cube. This gives us the value of our Q, which is 220,666.667, that is in cubic millimeter. Okay, now we can use this value in our formula. Then we have the shear stress, our V is 36,000 times our Q, which is 220,666.667 over our I. Since this is a circular beam, then we have pi d4 over 64. That's the moment of inertia of a circle. But since this is a hollow or a tube, then we have to minus d, or get the difference between the bigger and the smaller circle. We have d4 minus this one. So we have pi over 64 times the bigger diameter raised to the fourth minus smaller diameter to the fourth, which gives us 220 to the fourth minus 200 to the fourth times the base. Now we have the average shear stress, which is at the neutral axis. The base here is the shear area, and since our shear area is this one, so our base here is this one and this one here. That is just the base is equal to the diameter, okay, minus the smaller diameter. We have 220 minus 200, because this is the one we're looking, okay, this one and this one. So we have 20, our base is 20. So our 20 here is this base plus this one here, since this is 220 minus 200, the inside diameter, then we could have this one is 10, this is also 10, so we add, then we have 20. So we have 20. So our shear stress is equal to 10.90 megapascal. So this is now the average shear stress in our circular or our tube. Now we have this example. A simply supported beam with an overhang supports a concentrated load of 2,000 Newton at D. The beam is fabricated from two 40 mm by 235 mm wood boards that are fastened together with lag screw spaced at 150 mm interval along the length of the beam. Determine the shear force acting in the lag screws. Okay, so we have a built-up beam that is composed of a 235 by 40 wood and this also 230 by 40 millimeter wood. They are joined by a rivet, okay, this one, or screws that is spaced 150 millimeter apart. So our goal here is to determine the shear force acting in the lag screw. So what is the shear force that is being resisted by our screw? Okay, so we have the formula for spacing, which is S equal to Ri over VQ. Okay, then we have our S here, it is 150 millimeter. So R here, this is the one we're looking in this problem. I, that is the moment of inertia, V, that's the internal shear force, and Q, that is the moment area. However, we do not have yet the value of our internal shear and our moment of inertia. Since we know this is a T-beam, so our I here should be computed using that transfer moment of inertia. That is I in the neutral axis is equal to IG plus AD squared. And our V here is the maximum shear in our shear diagram. Okay, so let's compute the shear diagram or draw the shear diagram of this beam. The first thing we do here is, of course, to compute for the reactions. We can sum up moment at A. Let's say it's equal to 0, counterclockwise positive. Then we have RB times 2.5 minus 2,000 times 5 is equal to 0. And we have the value of RB here, which is equal to 4,000 Newton. Then we can sum up moment force vertical is equal to 0, upward positive. Then we have 4,000 Newton. It's the reaction at B plus RA minus 2,000 Newton is equal to 0. Therefore, we have the value of RA here, which is negative 2,000 Newton. So therefore, we have an incorrect assumption of the direction of our A. So this should be acting downward. So therefore, this is 2,000 Newton. So we can now plot it in our shear diagram. We have 2,000 going downward. Then this is negative 2,000 shear, internal shear. Then we have 4,000 that is going upward. So we have the value at this point, that is 4,000 minus 2,000, that is positive 2,000. Then all throughout. So therefore, our shear stress, then up to this point, we go downward and ends at 0 since we have 2,000 load here. So we have an internal shear here, which is 2,000 Newton. Now, our next goal here is to compute for the moment of inertia. Again, this is a non-symmetrical or a symmetrical member since we have T-beam. So therefore, we need to transfer our moment of inertia to the neutral axis. So we have already computed the centroid. So the centroid is already given. That is 88.75 from the top surface. And then we have 186.25 which is from the bottom surface. Otherwise, you need to compute for the centroid by Varignon's theorem. But since we have already given this location of our neutral axis, so this one is our neutral axis. So we can now go directly to the computation of our moment of inertia. We have the moment of inertia, the transfer moment of inertia, which is INA, the neutral axis moment of inertia, is equal to IG plus AD squared. Okay, then we have the moment of inertia, the neutral axis. Now, first, we need to compute for the IG for this section here. So, we first compute for the transfer for our flange, this one. So, we need to have a 1/12. That's the base is 235. The height is 40 cube. Correct? Plus the area, that is 235 times 40 times D, that is the center of our flange, the neutral axis. The center of our flange to the neutral axis, which is 88.75 minus this height here is 20, so we minus 20, then squared. And this equation gives us the value of our moment of inertia in the neutral axis for section 1. Let's say this for flange 456,830 20.83 millimeter to the fourth. Now let's compute for the transfer moment of inertia for our web. Our web here is this one. So we have the neutral axis moment of inertia at the neutral axis is equal to IG, that is 112 times 40 times 235 raised to the 3, that's 112 BH cube, plus the area 235 times 40 times the centroid to the neutral axis. Now we know that the centroid from the bottom surface is equal to 235 divided by 2, 117.5. So therefore, we need to compute this height here, this distance, which is 186.25 minus 117.5. This gives us 68.75. So therefore, we have here 68.75 squared. So therefore, we have the moment of inertia of our web to our neutral axis, which is equal to 876,89270.83 millimeter to the fourth. Then we add these two moment of inertia. We have the moment of inertia for the entire beam, which is equal to, so we add these two here, this one and this one. Let's say that is the neutral axis moment of inertia of the neutral axis in the flange plus the neutral axis moment of inertia in the web. Therefore, we have 1,333,72291.7, that is millimeter to the fourth. Then we can now use this formula here, that is S equal to RIVQ, where S, that is the spacing of our bolt. Now, from the figure, we have 150 millimeter spacing, longitudinal spacing. We have 150, that is we have millimeter, is equal to our R here, that is the internal, or this is the shear capacity of our bolt, or the shear being resisted by our screw. Okay, so therefore we take that as unknown. Our I here is 133,72291.7 over V, that is the internal shear. From our shear diagram, we have 2,000. We have already computed this one. That is in Newton. This one is in millimeter to the fourth. Times, now our Q here, that is the area times the barred Y. Now, since we are dealing with the shear capacity of our screw, so therefore our shear area here is this one. Okay, since the shear that we will looking here is at this point. Okay, this is where the possible cracking of our screw This is the critical for cracking. So therefore, our shear area is equal to 235 times 40, correct? Then our barred Y, which is the center of the flange to the neutral axis, this height. The center is that is 88.75 minus 20. So our Q here is equal to 646,250 millimeter to the 3. So we have here 646,250 millimeter to the 3. So we have our R. By further simplifying this formula, this equation we have, so we could compute for the value of R equal to 1453.638. And our unit here, again, since we can cancel this out, and then this one here, so the remaining would be Newton. So we have the unit that is in Newton. So this is our final answer. And this is the shear force which is being carried by our screw. So therefore, the shear capacity of our screw should be equal or greater than this value, so that in order to avoid failure or in order to avoid crackings in our screw. And that's it for the shear stress in beam. So if you have question, you can comment it down. For more videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening.